Sai Ram everyone, welcome to first PU and iOS classes. As some of us are very new to Sanskrit language, I thought of teaching some basics as bridge course. I am having a plan to take the same bridge course for 4 more classes, like maybe 5 or 6 more classes also. This class will help you to enrich how to write or how to pronounce some Sanskrit letters, and then how to understand the future lessons or future poems. In this way it will help you a lot. That way we are starting Sanskrit basics. So the first class will be on alphabets. So introduction, as I said, it's an introduction class. Here Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages. Yes, when you go about every language, exactly when a particular language has started, see, you will have you can find history for language, history of the languages. So when you go there, all linguists, they have considered that Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages. Like if you take Latin, Greek, all those, how these languages are very old, the same way the Sanskrit also one of the major languages in the ancient time. And secondly, many of the Indian scripts are written in Sanskrit. Yeah, today if you see scripts like whatever Itihasa, Purana or Smriti, Darshana is philosophy, Indian philosophy, all of them, majorly Vedas, Upanishads, all of them were written in Sanskrit itself. I said many of the Indian scripts, then some of the Indian scripts wouldn't even have written in Sanskrit, right? Yes, of course, there were some other languages also in our ancient India. They are called Prakrit language or Pali language, majorly Buddhism or Dhammapadas. They have written in these kind of Prakrit or Pali languages. So I said that many of the Indian scripts, most of them have written in Sanskrit. That's the reason if some of us are interested to learn Vedas or Upanishads, then Sanskrit will be a major language to understand all of them. That's the reason Sanskrit is very important. And next point is that in ancient Gurukula system of education, Sanskrit was the medium to study. Yeah, I don't know whether you have observed this point or not. When you see ancient Indian education system, yeah, of course the system was Gurukula system. Like there used to be a sage, one who has studied all the Vedas or Upanishads and other things, whatever the life leading things. There he used to have a university, not exactly university, an institution. Like the institution used to be called like Gurukula. Maybe let us take an example. For example, there was a great sage called Agastya. Agastya has learned all the Vedas and Upanishads, all spiritual thoughts, everything he has learned. Then he thought of starting a Gurukula to spread the knowledge to every people. That moment he started a Gurukula. Okay, he is one of the sages. So like Agastya, many of them used to do the same thing in his Gurukulam, like how we are doing now. See, there we are learning science or maths or whatever the other things also, like art subjects, and with that we are learning, like in the outside world they are saying that extra or co-curricular activities, we are making these activities also major only. You know why it is important? See, let us say one person is having very much interest and he is doing well also, where in the painting or in singing and all. So we cannot ask that person to study so many other things also. So we have to enrich that particular person, that particular boy, to move in his interested area, right? In that way, in our ancient India also, the sages, they used to enrich the students in their interested area, but they had to study all the subjects till a level. Maybe let us take in that way, maybe every student should have a knowledge, at least a minimum knowledge of all the subjects, as a degree level knowledge should be there for everyone. And after the degree, he can choose his own interested area to have mastery over that subject. That is how Gurukula used to be run in the ancient India. In those kind of Gurukulas, Sanskrit was one of the major languages, or Sanskrit was the medium to learn the scripts, like majorly Upanishads or Vedas. And apart from those kind of spiritual scripts, when you go to Rasayana Shastra or Rasayana Shastra, which means like today we call it as chemistry, but that moment you would have heard about iron pillars or using of bronze, all these things in ancient India. Then how they have used it, then they also should have some knowledge about those kind of things, right? So like that, if you take anything, maybe temple architecture, all these things, all of them were there in Sanskrit only. So that is the reason Sanskrit got an important thing. Even today linguists, they say that if there is a language which is having a proper pronunciation system, that must be Sanskrit only, or Sanskrit originated Indian languages, or they are very scientifically structured languages, like that scientists or linguists they call it. Okay, so and today what is the present situation? Today very less number of Indians in India only, we Indians only are like very less number of members we are studying or speaking in that Sanskrit language. Okay, to study any Indian scripts, to decode them, to understand them, Sanskrit is must, or Sanskrit is very important language. So this is the basic of a brief introduction to that why we need to study Sanskrit. And in this class what you are going to do is explained next. Let us see that one, what actually you are doing in this class. As I said, one major point was Sanskrit was the medium to study. Okay, yeah, in the beginning I would like to give some instructions to start this class, or what you need to do in the class or after the class. So here in this class you will get to know how to pronounce every letter. Only about this class I am talking now. So after the class you would be able to pronounce every single letter properly. See, we are having so many different letters which will be which will appear to be very difficult to pronounce. Like sh is there, we don't know how to pronounce sh or so, like the differences of these letters, and then how to pronounce v, or h, all of them. Yeah, we are doing normally, but exactly how we have to pronounce, we are every letter is having a place, or it has its own place to take birth. So it's there in our mouth, like once the air starts or air passes through the mouth, that moment our tongue will move to a different places and a sound will come out. You would have seen in tabla or in some other instrument, if you touch or if you beat the drum at the corner, in the middle, or somewhere in the side, the sounds will coming in a different way. The same way, when our tongue makes the air move to a different place in the mouth, then different sounds will come out through the air. So that's the reason we need to know how to pronounce them properly in the very beginning before starting Sanskrit. Okay, and then yes, when you practice more and more, then you will get to know pronunciation properly. So writing practice, at the end of the lesson I will give you some assignments for you to do. If you are going with those assignments, you will be able to read and write properly in Sanskrit. So let us go for the class now. Yes, as I said, alphabets in Sanskrit we call them as Varnamala. Okay, Varnamala. What does Varna mean? Varna, which says about letters. Okay, Varna is letters. Mala, which means garland, we know. So Varna Mala, which means the letters are structured one after one like a garland. If you see in a garland, like flowers, one after one they will join the flowers, maybe red, blue, white or yellow, in whichever the flowers are there. So one by one they will join them and they'll make a beautiful garland. The same way all these letters are structured like a garland. That's the reason they are calling alphabets as Varnamala in Sanskrit. Okay, I have written all of them over here. See, a to Jna, I have written all the letters. Once I'll tell all of them: a, I, u, r, lr, a, I, o, au, ah, and then k, kh, g, gh, ng, ch, ch, j, jh, ny, t, th, d, dh, n, t, th, d, dh, n, p, ph, b, bh, m, y, r, l, v, sh, sh, s, h, l, ksh, tra, and nya. You may find in any Indian languages all these letters. Generally, some letters would have been added over here, or some letters might not be here, which letter is there in some other language also, some other Indian language also. But if some letter is not there, which means the letter is included in some other letter, or maybe separated, and it has become 2 also. That is how some letter would be like somewhere, like it would be 48, 50, 52, 56. In that way, many letters will segregate the letters or in numbers. Okay, so let us see how to write each one of these letters. In the next slides, you will see how to write every letter, and then how to read them. Okay, these are the important points right away. We'll see them now. Point number 1, see, you can see here numbers. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 numbers. Why they have shown 5 numbers? How you have to start? If some of you might start like this. Generally, how we write Sanskrit letters or Devanagari Lipi. Yeah, exactly. You need to know one more important thing. Sanskrit is not having any language. No, there is no this one, Lipi. Lipi means how we write all these things, like script. There is no script for Sanskrit. So then what we are using for the writing in Sanskrit, that is called Devanagari. It's an important point. Devanagari. See, people started speaking in the beginning. In the very beginning, there were no any scripts. This is a particular script. If you are pronouncing this letter like you have to write like this. There was no rules like that. So no one used to write anything. They used to remember whatever they have studied, and they used to practice it. That's all it was. Later, maybe around 3000 years back, these scripts they have started. Okay, so there were many scripts like Devanagari and Brahmi, then Pali. These are all like the beginning scripts, okay. I'm not talking about those picture scripts and all. After that, the development of the language, I'm saying, after development of the scripts I'm talking. So these Sanskrit letters, what you see, they are all in Devanagari script. First one, how to write? See, many of you would write like this. See, generally what we write, like this, like this, like this, like this, and all. Some of you would write like this, like this. Otherwise, some of you may write this line first and then this line, and here, in all these way. But all of these things are wrong, completely wrong. We are not supposed to write like this, how I have shown you. Then how we have to start? See here, where is 1? Number 1 is here, which means we have to start from the top first. Then second, where is this one? See, from here they have started, right? So then we are starting from here again. So this one will go here. Then third, where is the third number? Here it is. There is a small line, right? This would be the third number. Then we are taking this line over here. Then the fourth line, top to bottom. Okay, this is the one. Then finally we are going to put this final top line. So in this way we are writing a letter like this. This is how we need to write Then how to pronounce this letter is a point now. You need to see the video properly. how we have to open the mouth, or which place where our tongue will move and reach. That is how we need to observe here afterwards. When you're practicing how to pronounce, that moment you need to observe where I am reaching. Okay, I'll show you now. Yeah, this is how we need to pronounce the letter a. Okay, our mouth will get open completely, so a letter will come out in that way only. If you close, or if you half close, if you bow your tongue here and there, you cannot pronounce that a letter properly. So this is about a. Then I will move to the next letter, a. As I said previously, the same way. How to write? See here, how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, then 6. Okay, here also generally what we do, this is what we write. After doing this much, we'll go for this line and then we'll come to the next one, but both of them are wrong again. Then how to write? The same way, how we write, the same way, then the next line should be given first, then the top one. This is how a should be written. Okay, so this is how a should be written. And then this a letter is called dirgha akshara, or prolonged letter, prolonging. When we say a, see, a over, then when we are saying a, we are taking a little more time. The same a is extended one, so a, this is how a should be pronounced. You can see this small video about this again. See there, so this is how a letter will be pronounced. Next one is e. We know this one, only two numbers, 1, 2, that's all. Once we start from top, like let us have a point from here to here. Okay, so we start here and we take this side, then we move down, and then we'll go to the final place. That is how e should be written, only one way. So e. Okay, e. This is what the way of writing e. How to pronounce them? E. I think you would have observed by now, we used to open, e now we are opening, but our mouth is taking a different style or different structure. Our mouth is getting a different structure when we are pronouncing e. See the video here.
E.
E.
E. E.
Then we'll go to the next letter, e. This is also very simple. How we have written e, the small letter e, the same way we are writing dirgha letter, which means I said earlier, prolonging one. Okay, prolonging or extended letter. So first one is the same way, this much we are writing first. Then generally what we do, we will put this letter over here and then we'll go for the top one, but this is the wrong style of writing. Yes, first we have started in the proper way. How? Yes, right. Then we need to put this mark, then we are writing the final line on top. So e. E. This is how we need to write the letter e. So pronunciation will be like this, e.
E. E. E.
exactly. That is how we need to pronounce Dirgha E letter, Dirgha E kara, or prolonging E version. Next letter will be U. A, E, E. Next is U. How? 1 is here, 2 is there, and 3. So first, and then like this, then third one. So what we have done in when we are writing a, we have started like this and we have joined this one. The same way, we are not starting, we are not taking from inside like this, but we are starting in the halfway, maybe over here only we are starting this U like this, U, okay, U, U. This is the way of writing U. The pronunciation will be U.
U.
See
U.
how it is happening.
U.
Our lips are changing now. U, U. Then the next letter would be prolonging one, otherwise Dirgha Ukara. Here also you need to observe this one, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the same way we are writing the previous Ukara only first, then we should not put this one, this should not happen here, but this line to be put first, then the final one. So U, U, U. This is the writing style of Ukara. Then how to pronounce this one? See,
U.
the same Ukara is getting prolonged. Okay.
U. U.
Then next letter is R. This might look quite difficult. We'll see how it is. See, this is actually 1, then 2, 3, then 4 and 5. So let us do in this way: 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Generally how we write? Generally we write maybe like this we write, but the both ways are wrong. We need to write 1, 2, then 3, then 4, 5. So R. So R. This is the way of writing R. And the pronunciation you should observe here properly. It is not R, it is R, R. Our tongue is going upwards and it is going behind the teeth. Okay, R, R. See, you can see the video, you will get a clear idea about it now.
R.
R. See how mouth is extending or expanding the moment. R,
R.
R. Okay. Then we are going to the next letter, the same letter but prolonged one. The usage, when I come to usage of this R kara, generally normally we don't use this one much, but when we are doing sandhis, that moment this R kara will be used. For example, there is a word called matrinam. Okay, it's a word. Here it's not matrinam, sorry, it's not matrinam, it is matrinam. So rishi is there, matru, pitru. See, I'll write pitru again. There's a word called pitru. This is what pitru. When I am writing rinam, pitru and rinam together, that moment I am going to write in this way. So can you see his double one? This says that, or this shows that this R letter is existed over here. So pitrunam, runam, runam, ru, pitru, ru, pitrunam, R. So that is the way of, I mean, these kind of places will be there. Many times we use R in this time. So here also the same way, writing 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5. Okay, how then? The same way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this should be like this: 1 and 2, 3, then 4, 5. That's all. This is what the writing style of Rukara. See the pronunciation now. Pronunciation is very important. You need to observe over here. See how it happened. R. Then next letter will be there, L. Ha. This is also one of the rarest pronunciation, I can say. I think only in Sanskrit this letter must be there. So L, like Lrikaraha, Taval Rikaraha. In that way the pronunciation usage will come. What do you say? For individually this letter cannot be used or cannot be pronounced, but when it joins some other letter, other word, then we can see this letter's existence. It's very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is the way of writing Lrikara. The pronunciation will be like this.
Lr.
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 Lr. See, tongue is going up and it's touching there.
Lr.
Lr. Right? That is how we need to pronounce this Lrikara. So next letter is A. 1, 2 and 3. How? First we start from here, and then the same line will be extended in the right corner, like this will take first, and then the second line will go parallelly for this one, parallelly. Okay, then the top line. That's all over. This is the way of writing A. How generally we write like this: A. This is what they have given over here. Slightly turn to left, this one. So A. This is the way of writing A, and there is no hraswa. It means like a were there in the beginning. Like that, a won't be there. Only prolonged version of this letter. Okay. Only dirgha akshara. So A. Tongue is there only. It is static. It's not moving here and there. In the same place it is there. A. We are just making the sound of A. The next one will be I. See, this is one important word. 1, 2, 3 here first, and then fourth line will come. So the same way how we have written A, the same way. Then we should not put this line. Before that we need to put the top line, then this line. So I. See the pronunciation part now. I. Yes, I letter is pronounced over here. The next one will be O. See here, seven lines will be there in this O letters writing. 1, the same way how we have written A, we have to start. Then 2, the second down line will come, curved one. Then 3, half curved. Then 4th one, top to bottom line. 5th line again, top to bottom line. And then 6th one, top left turn line. Then 7th one is the final line. So A over A over, then top line, then this one. So O. 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 This is how we need to write O letter. How to pronounce that is shown over here.
O.
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 O. This is also one of the prolonged
O.
letter. There is also no hraswa letter or short vowel, only extended vowel.